us live. It's Timberwolves Night in America. The Vype Live Network is tonight. More non-stop honking of the Cedar Park horn. I'm the V and the P, voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. It's our 12th show of the season, 9th season of the show, the 119th show overall since we started doing all this in my living room way back in 2012. We're live from Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant on Cypress Creek Road, 200 yards west of Old 183. We'll be here until 9 o'clock, so come on down if you can. With me once again tonight, the king of Laces Out, a professor at the College of Football Knowledge, the former whiteout, member of our 2010 district championship team and regional finalist, one of the slayers of mighty Lake Travis. The police often question him just because they find him interesting. Two countries went to war to dispute his nationality. It's lifetime Timberwolf, Josh Willard.
Thank you so much. I mean, and that gets my grease hot right there. Hashtag drain the lake. Anytime you can stick it to Lake Travis, I'm all for that. So excited to be here, especially riding off of that double overtime victory. Are you kidding me? Give me that right into my veins. I can't wait to go over the stats and all the highlights from that one, baby.
They're big ones. All right. And Linda Salvo, our quality assurance agent scheduled for tonight, closely and diligently monitoring the broadcast from that super secret, high-tech, low-maintenance, ultra-modern, technically advanced, stealthily cloaked pinnacle of internet communications, the Vype Studios, making sure we don't sound like, well, a hyena with laryngitis. Josh, since we keep a good count of all of our broadcasts, and I just mentioned this is our 119th episode of TNIA, we're getting close to another milestone. The Johnson game was our 174th broadcast of a game. Add those two together, and we were at 293. If we keep winning football games, in a few weeks we'll have our 300th football-related broadcast, and if not, we'll have it early next year. 300! And I calculate that you've been involved in 208 of them.
Wow. Wowzers.
Does it seem like it?
Blink your eye. That happened really fast. That happened real fast. And, I mean, just going back from the beginning of the decade, that's crazy. I mean, right after I graduated, there was a lot of good Cedar Park teams, a lot of good road trips, and we got another good one coming up this week.
We do. We'll talk all about it. All right, with us this evening, that amazing four-time unbeaten defending district champion and now defending state champion Cedar Park women's basketball team and their head coach, Donnie Ott, plus Mike Rose via the LT, plus J.R. Romero, assistant coach extraordinaire. We'll be chatting them up starting at the top of the hour. This year's Booster Club sponsors and sponsors of this broadcast: Toyota of Cedar Park, H-E-B, Rudy's Barbecue, Mungia Real Estate, Army Ant Moving, our touchdown sponsor, TJ Lewis Real Estate, Alzer's Barbecue, Wofford Bank, and Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant. All right, here's what's on the menu for tonight's show. Josh with the state of the program update, a review of the Johnson game, then a look at other scores of interest. We'll briefly talk playoff bracket stuff, then we'll take a trip through the wonderful world of Willard. Then at the top of the hour, we'll bring on the state champs. After the bottom of the hour, I'll give my Veterans Day tribute, and we'll play a fun trivia game with the girls and Josh, and in closing, a preview of our next foe, the Angleton Wildcats, over in Houston, near Houston and Waller. Now here's Josh with our State of the Program update.
The all-time record for Cedar Park football is now 208-76. How you like them apples?
I like them.
The program is now 42-14 in the postseason. That's winning 3 out of every 4 football games, and you can not find any other high school in UIL for 22 years that has done that.
That's 3 out of every 4 playoff games.
I know, that's insane. They're now 110-47 on the road all-time, 81-33 in opponents' home stadiums. Love silencing. Oh, my God. I mean, that was
They went quiet, didn't they?
That was a very silent crowd, and, I mean, we've been there before, so moment of silence for the Jags. They've now won their 12th consecutive first-round playoff game, and they have won their 5th consecutive overtime game. That's incredible. And the last such loss coming in the 2009 playoffs in the first round. Too soon still.
Yeah, still too soon to talk about that one.
Since 2005 in games which the Timberwolves led at halftime, the program has now gone 149-7. In games in which they've led going into the fourth quarter, they're 152-5.
That's amazing. And they led at halftime and going in the fourth quarter of this game, although we had to score in the last seconds to not lose.
Last minute and a half to score 8 points. That was grit.
Okay, here's our out-of-the-gate trivia question for you, Josh.
Oh.
You just mentioned our very good streak in overtime games. You can win in overtime by the offense producing a walk-off score. You can win by the defense making a stop that ends the game. Friday night, the massive sack of Jesse Medina and the subsequent fumble recovery by the Black Rain closed out the win. So how many of the program's 7 overtime wins through the years ended with the Cedar Park defense securing the victory?
Okay. 7 games. Craig, I might need to
7
phone a
wins.
friend over here. Come on. How many overtime games out of the 7 have ended by the defense?
Overtime wins.
Wins.
They ended with the defense making the play that ended the game and won it.
I'm not going to lie.
7
channeling my number, it's 3.
Okay. What do you think? He's going to try 2. Are you going to stick with 3?
Yeah, come on, man. I'm going to ride it.
It is 3!
Hey!
3 of our 7 overtime wins came with the defense on the field. This one last Friday night in a 24-17 win at Leander in 2013, where we got an end zone pick by Lane Waller to end the game, and a 36-29 win over Harker Heights, also first-round playoff game, when we won when a completed pass by Heights to the 1-yard line on 4th down was flagged as the quarterback being over the line, lost it down, game's over.
Oh, my God.
What a horrible way to lose for Harker
You hate
Heights.
to see it. You just hate to see it.
A weird way to win. All right, a review of the Johnson game. Holy cow!
Yeah.
It was one of the most exciting games we've ever broadcast, but it started out pretty slow. Back and forth in the first quarter as neither team could move the ball. That wouldn't last. There ended up being 1,027 yards of offense in this game between the two teams. Cedar Park took the first lead 30 seconds into the second quarter, 7-0 on an 11-yard run by Tyree Nicholson and Raylan Barr's kick. But Johnson answered immediately, and I mean immediately. Only 21 seconds later, it was tied 7-7 after Jesse Medina hit Caden Windsor for a monster 76-yard touchdown pass up the left sideline, and a very nice clock management drive to end the half. The Timberwolves went up 14-7 when Josh Pell hit Kevin Adams from 11 yards out with 10 seconds left. Cedar Park couldn't go anywhere at the start of the third quarter, and Johnson drove 65 yards for what was ostensibly the tying touchdown on a short run, but the Timberwolves blocked the extra point and still led 14-13 halfway through the third quarter. This time it was Cedar Park's turn to answer fast. Pell hit Cody Marshall, Weapon X, with a 45-yard scoring strike, and Barr's kick gave the Timberwolves their biggest lead of the night at 21-13. But over the next 15 minutes, a slew of Cedar Park turnovers allowed Johnson to score 3 times. The first was a 1-yard run by tight end Rich Kelly lined up in the backfield. They faked the kick trying for 2, but were smothered by the Cedar Park defense. It was 21-19 Cedar Park with 1:53 left in the third. With 6:57 left in the game, the Black Rain halted a Jaguar drive at the CP30. They attempted a 47-yard field goal into a very strong wind of about 9 or 10 knots and made it by several yards. One of the most impressive high school kicks I have ever seen. That kick gave Johnson the lead for the first time, 22-21. The offense continued to struggle turning yards into points, and Johnson had gone to a wildcat formation with the speedy and elusive Aiden Rodriguez carrying the ball from a direct snap. He ended up, we didn't go over this at that time, Josh, but listen to this. He ended up with 101 rushing yards on the night, all of it in the second half from the Wildcat. With just 2:48 left in the game, he strode into the end zone untouched from 19 yards out, and the kick gave Johnson a 29-21 lead. With the team's very existence on the line, Josh Pell drove the Timberwolves nearly the length of the field in just over 2 minutes, hitting Marshall from 23 yards for a touchdown with 45 seconds left. They had to go for 2, and Pell ran it in himself to tie the game. Cedar Park had won the toss and chose to go second in overtime. The Jags put the wind at their back, starting from 25 yards out in just 3 plays. They had a touchdown on a 1-yard plunge by Christian Ibarra. They kicked the point and led 36-29. Cedar Park's turn. This short possession ended in another scoring strike from Pell to Marshall. This one from 23 yards out. Barr's kick tied the game at 36. The overtime rules flip who goes first and second from one period to the next. That meant consecutive offensive possessions for Cedar Park since they'd gone second in the first overtime. So right after kicking that extra point for the tie, they went back out to the 25-yard line and went on offense again. This possession resulted in yet another touchdown, a 13-yard run by Kevin Adams. Coach Q rolled the dice and went for 2, but the play was stuffed. leaving open a chance for Johnson to score a touchdown and then have an easy kick for the 1-point win. The Jags started at the 25, and on the first play, Medina faded back to pass. 4 guys slammed into him and dislodged the ball. The Timberwolves fell on it to win the game. Cedar Park came from behind with 3 touchdowns scored after there were just 45 seconds left on the game clock. Johnson's best season ever, well, they're only 3 years old, though, ends at 9-2. Cedar Park goes to 6-5 and lives for at least another week when they'll play the Angleton Wildcats in Waller this Friday night in the area round game.
Unbelievable game. It took me forever to fall asleep whenever I got home.
Me too.
I could not get over the grit that those guys showed, the resiliency that it took to, they had a lead, and how crucial was that blocked extra point on how that score worked out to be able to get into overtime. And, the defense gave you possession after possession of, great field position, getting off the field quickly, and the offense looked good too. The Doughboys up front were paving the way for Kevin Adams, a great rushing attack all the way around with 3 great rushing nights from Josh Pell, Tyree Nicholson, and Kevin Adams. So it was very promising how it looked, but just the score wasn't able to keep up during regulation. I think we had over 30 first downs.
Yeah, it was like right at 30. It's something like, I think I got it in the record section. It's the 4th or 5th most first downs we've ever had in a game.
Yeah.
You talked about that running attack. It's 270 yards on 43 carries, a team average of 6.3.
Give me that all day.
Adams had 88 on 5.5. Josh Pell had 89 on 5.9. Tyree Nicholson, 81 on 9.0 yards a carry. Adams and Nicholson with rushing touchdowns. That's the running game that this team has deserved for itself all year long.
And that's what we had last year on that state championship run with Cade Hott, Kevin Adams, and then Tyree Nicholson, Gavin Mundell. So, we still got that 3-headed monster there with Kevin Adams, Gavin Mundell, and Tyree Nicholson. So it was good to see them running, but then Josh Pell with those timely pulls to go ahead and extend possessions, getting crucial first downs. We're going to need that to make deep playoff runs because, receivers weren't necessarily getting as open. They were getting open later in the game, and Weapon X absolutely had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, he led with 12 catches, 182 yards, 15.2 yards per catch, and touchdowns of 43, 23, and 13 yards for Cody Marshall. Grant Nichols, the only other guy with more than 4 catches, he had 7 for 53. It was pretty amazing. The only bad aspect of this game, I think, and the reason it was actually close, was that although we had all kinds of total offense, it was, where was the total offense number? A near record, 569 yards of total offense and 42 points. We had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
We counted during the game 5 times there was a touchdown pass that just didn't get completed. There was a no-doubt touchdown pass, guy wide open behind everybody, alone completely, and the pass either didn't make it to him or it hit him in the hands and dropped it. That happened twice. I didn't make it to him 3 times. I looked back in the rebroadcast. One of those possessions we scored anyway. So only 4 really counted, but that's 28 points we didn't score.
Yeah.
It would have never been in overtime.
No, there was a lot of points left on the field, and those possessions or those interceptions too came on the other side of the 50-yard line too. They were when we were driving, putting together great possessions, and giving our defense a break. And so for them to come back on the field and continue to give the offense the ball back, it was so a great give and take game for Cedar Park, and just weathering the storm the entire game. And maybe there was some jitters, on some of those passes because those receivers were getting wide open.
Hope they get that open this week again.
Absolutely, we're going to need it.
All right, here's some observations while updating school record book, stuff I send Coach Q over the weekend. This time it's mostly good stuff. There's always a little bad anytime you play, so here we go. The 388 yards of total offense by Josh Pell alone is the 8th most in program history in one game by an individual. With his 393 last week against Manor, Pell has 2 of the top 8 individual total offense marks in Cedar Park history in the last 2 weeks.
My daughter has officially said Josh Pell is her favorite player right now.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
I'm just saying. You got the nod.
Got a fan club starting up. Now with 2,860 career yards of total offense, Pell passes Tyler Smith for 11th on our all-time list. With 4 touchdown passes against Johnson. This is the 3rd time this season Pell has thrown for 4 or more touchdowns. Those touchdown passes jump Pell's 2021 total from 10th best in Cedar Park history all the way up to 5th best. Now with 25 on the season, only Max Sexton and Ryder Hernandez, who did it 3 times, have thrown for more touchdowns in one season. Pell passes Steven Schaefer, our very first varsity quarterback 20 years ago in career passing yards. Now with 2,431, Schaefer did it in 3 seasons. It's a difference in the game from back then to now. With 57 passes attempted against Johnson. 57!
Wow.
But that's just the 5th most ever in a Cedar Park game. Pell now has 309 career attempts, passes Corey Washington for 4th on the list. The 28 completions against Johnson are the 5th most ever in one Cedar Park game. Now with 199 career completions, Pell passes Ryan Fiala for 4th on that all-time list. Now with 314 career rushing attempts, Kevin Adams passes Nate Grimm on that all-time list.
Wow.
Cody Marshall's 12 receptions in this game tied Josh Cameron's 2019 mark against Friendswood in the playoffs for the 2nd most ever in one game at Cedar Park. The record 14 by Carson Neal against Cedar Ridge in 2018. Now with 649 receiving yards, Marshall passes Nick Gruyon to become the 2021 team's leading receiver. His 2021 performance also climbs from number 21 to number 11 on the list of all-time receiving seasons at Cedar Park. Grant Nichols' performance in this game climbs his mark from 41st to 30th on the list of best all-time single-season receiving performances here. Marshall's 182 receiving yards, the 3rd most in one game in program history, and the best on the team this season. The 569 yards of total offense against Johnson by the team is the best this season, passing the output against Maynard just last week. It's the 9th best in the history of the program. The 313 yards of total offense in the second half alone are the 20th best ever in one half, and that's over 600 halves have been played. That's the 20th best half we had on offense.
Yeah, that's insane. It felt like it, too.
It did. The team's gained 1,115 yards of total offense in the last 2 games.
Holy cow.
The 299 team passing yards is the 23rd most in team history. The 32 first downs are the most this season, 32. And ties the 32 achieved against Vandergrift in 2010 for the 3rd most in program history. This team has 58 first downs in the last 2 games. The 458 total yards of offense allowed Johnson, though, is the 17th most ever in one game and 5th most ever in a victory. The 257 rushing yards allowed Johnson are the 21st most ever in one game and the 7th most ever in a victory. I told you some of this was bad. Johnson was only the 6th team ever to register 2 100-yard-plus rushers against any Cedar Park defense. Ouch. The 76-yard touchdown pass from Jesse Medina to Caden Windsor was the 3rd longest ever allowed by a Cedar Park defense.
Wow.
The 6 sacks against Johnson were the most this season and ties for the 4th most in one game ever.
We needed it.
We needed it. Especially we needed that last one. The 36 points allowed in this game pushed this team's average points allowed per game figure to 28.5, the highest in the history of the program. With the 62-yard run by Medina, this year's defense has given up 7 of the 18 longest runs by a Cedar Park opponent in our history.
And 4 of them by one player.
Yeah.
Against Maynard.
This was one of the rare times when Cedar Park has given up 30 points or more and still won.
Hey.
The record in such games now 11-34.
Pretty grim.
And the 2021 team has a better record on the road at 4-2 than it had at home, 2-3.
That hurts.
Hard to believe.
I know, because we love the GUP and we protect the GUP at all costs, but still a lot of good things to take away from this game. The offense, I mean, a lot of production, and you just want to see that with how depleted that offensive line has been. You know, Isaac Barksdale doing a great job over at center, and just really happy about how Josh Pell has been operating from the pocket. He's been finding the receivers, and he's been trying to force a few, and especially that last game, I felt like, I mean, he put a lot on a tight rope. He was throwing a lot of quick balls, trying to get, you know, quickly to those receivers so they could make a move and get open in space. So I thought offensively it was a great game, just ball security. If we take care of those turnovers and capitalize on some of those drop balls or, you know, passes thrown out of bounds, I mean, that would have been a blowout in the first round.
Who knows what that score would have been if we had not had 3 interceptions and a lost fumble, and we had not missed on those 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, but that
who knows what the score would have been.
Medina was as good as advertised in that roster for Johnson. There was a lot of juniors and sophomores on it, and that kicker is only a junior too. That kid is going to get recruited for sure.
Oh, he had a bionic leg. All right, here's a look at District 11 5A D1 scores from last week. All playoffs, of course. Cedar Park 42 Butte Johnson 36 in double overtime. Weiss 63 33, San Antonio Veterans Memorial 28.
Dang.
That game was 49-7 Weiss at halftime.
Yikes.
Manor 35, Seguin 14. It was 21-0 Manor at the end of the first quarter. Georgetown 63, Dripping Springs 56. It was 21-0 Georgetown at the end of the first quarter. So it could have been all three stops.
Yeah,
and interesting that all four of our district's teams beat all four of the 12 5A teams in every game.
I knew our Cedar Park Timberwolves would have been able to take care of business in a tight game like this because we've been in so many throughout the season, but for Georgetown to still hang on to that win on the road, that was an incredible victory.
That was the one upset, I think.
Absolutely.
I expected the other three to win.
Absolutely, yeah. And so for our district to go undefeated, I mean, we have one of the toughest districts in Central Texas, no doubt.
With a win this Friday night against Angleton, who would we face next? That would be the winner between Katy-Pato, a team that had to COVID forfeit a playoff game last year and thus missed an opportunity to lose to us. We played New Braunfels Canyon instead. Or we play Manor.
Oh.
Well, we know all about Manor. Should have beaten them 2 weeks ago. Pato is 10-1 and plays in a rough league, so the next round would certainly be a tough one. And if it's Manor, though, it would be a lot closer to home. Here are the second-round games involving 11 5A teams. Weiss, 10-1 and a first-place team versus Manville.
God.
We know them. They're 9-2 and we're second. That'll be in Bryan. Manor's 9-2 and our second-place team versus Pato. They're 10-1 and won that district. That's in College Station. Cedar Park, it's us. We're against Angleton. They're 9-1 and 6-1 and finished second. That's in Waller. Georgetown 6-5 and fourth versus Fort Bend Hightower. They're 9-2, finished third. That will be at Katie's new Legacy Stadium, which we've been to, a nice place. Now let's take a look at some other scores of interest from last week. Another note: those three 6A teams we played in non-district finished the regular season 25-5. We lifted heavy weights. Our non-district slate consisted of teams that finished 1, 2, and 3 in one of the toughest 6A districts in Texas. After their first-round playoff games, those teams are now 26-7. 2 of them lost and are done. Of the 5 teams that beat us this year, Vandy, Manor, and Weiss are still alive. All of these scores are playoff games. The losing team is done. 6A scores: Bowie 13, Round Rock 3. That was a surprise to me. Vandegrift 52, San Marcos 14, Westlake 54, Hutto 9, Lake Travis 48, Cedar Ridge 7. That wasn't a surprise that Lake Travis won. I was surprised that it was by 41 points, though.
Only 41.
Only 41. 5A, Liberty Hill 57, Bastrop 7, of course. McCallum 27, Glen 21, yeah. Marble Falls 27, Brenham 21.
Very surprising.
Yeah, Marble Falls finished fourth, and Brenham almost won their district. In 4A, Wimberley 56, Navasota nothing. Navasota won a state title a couple of years ago. LBJ is now ranked number 1 in 4A. They beat Lavernia 34-7, or 54-7. Fredericksburg 45, Somerset 41, and Pleasanton 28, Lampasas 27. Now, our former coaches and players scores. All our exes coach in Texas. We need to get the Zach Willard Band to just record that one line of music for
Love
us
it.
to play right here. All our exes coach in Texas. Well, at least we think they do. Tyler Legacy 41, Garland 40. Joe Willis team, they're 6-5. Next up, 7-4, Cedar Hill in the second round. Lovejoy 77, Crandall 27. Chris Ross is now 10-1. Next, 8-3 Burleson. Prosper 28. Flower Mound Marcus 21. That's Brandon Schmidt's team. They're 7-4. Next up, 7-4 Grand Prairie. Barbers Hill 42. Number 2 ranked Fort Bend Marshall 21. Great win for Carl Absek. They go to 6-5. Next up, 9-2 A&M Consolidated. Rouse, the Rouseketeers 59. Travis 6. Josh Mann's team 10-1. Next up, 9-2 Floresville. Mount Vernon 57. Jefferson 28. Brad Willard's team 11-0. Next up, 6-5 Whitney. Best week for our exes. All 6 won their first round playoff game.
And a lot of those too were underdogs, and it was a great victory for Coach Willis. They took off the number 25 team in the state, and then Coach Absek, that was just a huge victory for him with how his season went. I mean, and Coach Absek still lifting heavy weights in the non-district as well. So, I mean, his record not as good as he probably wanted it to, but as soon as you get into the playoffs, it's just a new ball game, and the goal is to go 1-0, and so that's what all these coaches have done from that coach Chris Ross tree, and it's just incredible to see how, they keep the family together at all these programs.
And I should say 7 former Cedar Park coaches won first-round playoff games, because Michael Quintero is a former coach at Cedar Park, too, happens now to be our head coach. Yeah, okay. Now it's off to see the Willard, the wonderful Willard of Oz. Here we go on another fascinating voyage through the wonderful world of Willard.
See the Wizard of Oz. We're here. He is the Wizard of Wiz. If ever a Wiz there was. If ever a Wiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because.
I mean, the Cedar Park Timberwolves just started the football weekend off incredible. That double overtime victory on the road. Anytime the band can get together for a road game, it's always fun. We had a great time up in the booth, and anytime you can silence a home crowd, holy cow. We were up in the press box. We had free fajitas. Shout out to Johnson for giving us some fajitas. And, I mean, on that fumble, when the Black Rain recovered it and the game over, the classiness from the Johnson Jaguars fans,
it was.
We really appreciated it. We got a lot of thumbs up from their guys. You know, it was a great game because we were obviously going bananas in the press box. But that just queued it up for a great weekend of football because the Baylor Bears got to stick it to Oklahoma. Anytime that Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams can get in fits is always fun.
Bummer Sooner.
Bummer Sooner. I love that. So it was exciting to see the Baylor Bears take care of business. But it was unfortunate to see how the Texas Longhorns welcomed the Kansas Jayhawks.
Like I said, I don't pay attention to them anymore, so tell me what happened.
You can't say that because the Kansas Jayhawks really got out to a hot start, but then it looked like the Longhorns were going to battle back into it. Bijan Robinson going down was huge for the Longhorns, but the Kansas Jayhawks hold on in an overtime victory, and the Kansas Jayhawks starting quarterback went down, and he's actually a Texas product. So this backup quarterback just kind of electrified this offense.
So I even lost to a backup quarterback?
Oh yeah. And it's only they've only
no
won
heart, like
3 times.
They have no heart.
Kansas Jayhawks previous to that game have only won 3 times against the Longhorns since 1909. And this is their first victory in Austin.
I understand also this is the first time since 1955, the middle of the Eisenhower administration, that Texas has lost 5 football games in a row.
Oh, yikes.
There are a lot of people who weren't. I was not alive then.
Can we turn that speaker up so Sark can hear that? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that was a mistake.
But it was okay because all the Aggie fans that wanted to jump on the Longhorns weren't able to take care of business either. So they lost to Ole Miss and Coach Lane Kiffin, and so it was just not the greatest weekend for some college football in the state of Texas.
I think old Jimbo's thinking about his next job already.
Oh.
Thinking about LSU.
Well, that athletic director that hired him at Texas A&M is now the athletic director at LSU.
Oh, well.
And so follow the money. It wouldn't take 2 to figure out how that might play out. But you'd be an idiot to leave College Station right now because they do praise him like an idol.
Although the buyout is tremendous, you would be an idiot not to leave.
That's true. And so then transitioning into Sunday football, it was outstanding. My wife worked, so me and my daughter watched a lot of it. And my Carolina Panthers welcomed back Cam Newton, and we took down the Arizona Cardinals, and everybody else in the division lost. The Saints, the Bucks, and the Falcons all lost. So that was a great weekend of football, and I have a few stupid is as stupid does. It was Deshaun Jackson playing in his first game as the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders going through the Henry Ruggs situation. And then did you see
John Gruden situation?
The John Gruden situation, and then the year that they drafted Henry Ruggs, they also drafted in the second round a cornerback, and they just recently had to cut him for flashing all of his guns on
There's a bright guy.
Personal page, threatening one of the guys in his DMs. So, not a good time to be a Raiders fan. And Deshaun Jackson, there was some hope being on his team, bringing a spark to this offense, losing Ruggs, and
for 20 or more
just a terrible catch.
From the 43.
Derek Carr steps up in the pocket, fires one down the field, beats his man. He turns around
and throws the ball backwards.
At the 14.
That's not very bright either.
Deshaun Jackson, that was an insane turn away from the end zone when he had both men beat. It looked like his man. It was unbelievable, and I'm sorry. If you do something stupid like that, you're going to get featured every single time.
Stupid or something. I'm so stupid as stupid does.
Peas and carrots. All right. Wonderful world of Willard. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, our guests, the defending state champion Cedar Park women's basketball team. Stick around. You're listening to Timberwolf Night in America live from Santa Catarina right here on the Vype Live Network.
At WaFd Bank, formerly Washington Federal, working together isn't new for us. We've been awarded America's Best Big Bank by Newsweek. From digital options, touchless transactions, and increased nonprofit contributions to help our neighbors, we're here for you. Our bankers approved more than 9,000 PPP loans to keep small businesses going during the pandemic. WaFd Bank is a local bank and portfolio lender with more than 200 branches in 8 states to serve you. 24/7 online and mobile banking with mobile check deposits, over 32,000 ATMs, free checking. WaFd Bank, your local bank for personal and business banking at wafedbank.com or 800-324-9375.
Experience the difference at Toyota of Cedar Park, one of the Austin area's newest automobile dealerships. Their new vehicle department will always stock the newest Toyota models you need. The pre-owned vehicles they choose must each pass a rigorous inspection and be in tip-top shape before they make it to their lot or website for you to see. And if you're looking for budget-friendly Toyota certified used vehicles, they've got you covered. And you can rest easy knowing that the best new cars make the best used cars. That's Toyota of Cedar Park at toyotaofcedarpark.com.
A premier real estate brokerage in Central Texas, Mungia Real Estate's innovative buy-sell process results in their listings selling faster than the Austin average. Their attention to clients sets Mungia apart from other brokerages. With creative marketing strategies, savvy negotiation skills, and a commitment to hard work and excellent customer service. Whether it's residential, single-family, multifamily, condos, commercial, or vacant land, Mungia Real Estate knows the Austin market and connects buyers with sellers every day. And they do it with professionalism. Mungia Real Estate at 512-922-4267 or mungiarealestate.com. That's MUNGIA.
Welcome back, episode 12 of Timberwolves Night in America for 2021, live from Santa Catarina on Cypress Creek Road here in Cedar Park. I'm Brad Cohn, joined by Josh Willard, Len DeSalvo, our QA tonight here on the Vype Live Network. All right, another trivia question for you, Josh. While we're on the subject of Cedar Park's 11 overtime games and their nice 7-4 record in those games, and the fact that in 3 of those wins, the defense provided the stop that won the game. In our 4 overtime losses, how many times was the defense on the field at the end of those games? In other words, how many times did our opponent's offense win the game for them?
Ooh, we're going to go 4.
4? All 4 times, you're right.
I mean, we only had 7. I don't know.
In the most recent loss,
pretty smart.
Cy Ridge kicked a 28-yard field goal in the second overtime to win 39-36. In 05, Westwood kicked a walk-off 35-yard field goal to beat us 2017 in the first overtime. In 2000, Harker Heights scored a walk-off touchdown in the second overtime to beat us
dinosaurs roamed the earth.
15-9. Yeah, that was in black and white. In our very first full-up varsity UL game ever,
wow.
Bastrop kicked a 32-yard field goal in the second overtime to beat us 16-13. In fact, in all 4 of these losses, Cedar Park offense never scored an overtime point. So if we score in overtime, we win, historically.
So in 09, was that at the Cy Ridge?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Michael Waterfield, happy birthday to you. Graduating class with me. Ruined 3 years of playoff games for us. God bless his soul. He's hanging out on the East Coast right now in Florida. Shout out Waterhead.
Poor guy. And he knows he's in our Hall of Shame, too. All right, a short programming announcement. We will do this show every week. There's a football game plus the Tuesday following our final game, whenever that might be. So at this point, 11 games into the season, counting tonight, we'll have at least 2 more shows, and at most 6 more if we make it all the way to state championship game. Again. Not wanting to be any sort of distraction to the team, we've stopped inviting players and coaches on as guests now that the playoffs have started. We are featuring other guests, though, such as the trainers last week, the women's hoopsters tonight. Next week, it will be the national champion cheer squad captains. If the football team wins Friday night, we'll have at least 1 more show after that, and the guests that night have yet to be determined. They might just be the volleyball team, if we keep winning football playoff games, of course. And now, our special guests tonight. The current and perhaps future state champions of women's basketball in the Republic of by God, Texas, the Cedar Park Timberwolves, their head coach Donnie Ott, assistant coach J.R. Romero, and the V of the LT, Mike Rose. The girls have hit the ground running. They are already 7-0 and ranked number 1 in Texas in every poll. They just won the Bowie Beautiful tournament last week. They already have wins this year over San Antonio Wagner, Waco High, McKinney, Westlake, Pflugerville, Austin High, and Duncanville. The men's team there is called Dunkingville. All of those except Pflugerville are 6A teams. We're going to start with the head coach, the guy who kind of brought this wave of extreme success to women's basketball at Cedar Park. Donnie Ott, how are you doing, Coach?
Doing well today.
Great. Glad you could come. This is your second time on the show with us. We had some girls last year. It's a great visit, and it's going to be again tonight. So, when did you get to sleep after that state championship win?
Oh, man, I don't know that I had much sleep that night. It's a long night. A lot of phone calls, a lot of texts, a lot of family members, a lot of coaching colleagues that have been doing it, almost twice as long as I have, and haven't had that fortune and that experience. And so, yes, it was definitely a late night for sure.
And it's a weird feeling, isn't it? I would suppose it is, to be working and working and working and always having that next step to take and you keep winning, then you win this one and you're looking and it's empty. There's no step to take. You just did it. How does that affect your mind?
That was a weird feeling before the game, just knowing that it was our last game,
That's it,
win or lose, and I know that for me, it drove me real hard that week to make sure that we ended it on a good note, because you work so hard to get to that pinnacle, and you want to walk away as a winner. And I felt like no matter what that season, all the adversity that we had faced, we were definitely winners regardless, but it sure did feel nice to walk out with a win as well.
And to do it against a team that was the defending state champ, had nearly all of their role players back, and you never even trailed them. We're never behind in that game.
No, and it was really a lot of added pressure because of those things, and then everybody was doubting the fact that if it was a close game that we could win, and a lot of people felt like our inexperience in that moment coupled with their experience was going to be disastrous for us. But we had a strong team belief, and we had a real strong faith and trust in each other, to where if that moment presented itself, we felt like we were going to come out on top.
I know that at the top of your job description is going to be win basketball games. You certainly can do that. There are other things a head coach in any sport, coaching teenagers of any gender, wants to accomplish as well. And how is that part coming in your estimation, your program? It looks pretty good to me.
Well, I hope that we've created an atmosphere to where they feel accepted and loved and appreciated and understand the value of hard work and trust, and for me, I have to do this right, because I have two daughters that are looking up to these kids that I work with every day, and that, that I try to give them the values and things that I want my own kids to have. So, it's very important for me from that standpoint to make sure that our kids are exuding those kind of things and those kind of behaviors when they're out. And, at the end of the day, to me, we need to make sure that we're good women and we can be, good mothers and, wives when we're older. And so that's hopefully the idea, is to teach these ladies valuable life lessons as well as winning. It's always fun to win, but the most important thing, like I said, is we're trying to focus on that future.
And how is the psychology? How might that be different going into this campaign, knowing that your last one was so ultimately successful? You've got a state title behind you. What do you got to do different this year, or do you do anything different this year to get them going? Whoops. Hold on, let's see if we make. Okay, go ahead. Try again.
You there?
There we go.
You got to do things a little different each year, I think. I mean, that's the progression part of things. Is I think complacency can lead to a lot of negative effects, and so we're trying to always explore and move the needle and do different things. And then also, each year is a different team. We have 3 seniors last year. This year we have 6. So each year presents a different challenge, and this year, for us, it's just trying to ensure that they're still driven to succeed. And I feel like after this past weekend's tournament, there's no question that they still want to succeed and they still want to move the needle, and that's what I'm really excited about. I feel like the maturity and the seasoned leadership on this team is not going to allow us to fall in that complacency loop that some people do fall in.
All right, thanks, Coach. That's head coach Donnie Ott. We're going to now transition the mic to J.R. Romero, one of his assistants, and talk a little bit with J.R., who is not only a pretty darn good basketball coach, but also coaches another set of girls, a softball team. He's got an assistant role there. Might talk to her a little bit about that. But first, J.R., we're going to talk about basketball. How many years have you been doing basketball?
Basketball, this is my 10th year at Cedar Park and my 12th year overall coaching basketball.
Where else were you before you came to Cedar Park?
I was in Lubbock, at Lubbock Estacado, and Brownfield.
Okay.
Brownfield recently won the state championship last year in 3A.
Pretty cool. What is it that really lights your fire about coaching girls basketball?
Well, I think one thing that it reminds me of coaching with this group that we have here, as far as a coaching staff and kids, is it reminds me of coaching football at Cedar Park. From 2012 to 15, I was fortunate enough to coach for Coach Joe Willis.
Well, that's like 2 state titles in 4 years. That's not a bad job, is it?
Well, the one thing that this culture definitely resembles is what was the culture that we had in football right there. And so, the unselfishness that these kids have and this coaching staff has as working as one is what makes it all worth it. I'm just very, very lucky to be a part of something like this.
Coach, I think as I run it through my head, you've got to be the only coach in Cedar Park history who's been involved in state championships in 2 different sports. 3 times in 2 different sports. That is pretty impressive.
I never really thought about that, but
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Go ahead and build a statue.
Yeah. I never really thought about that, but the one thing that's for sure is through those times in coaching football and coaching basketball, experiencing a state championship in 12 and then losing it in 14 on the last second play, and kind of seeing what Coach Alt was talking about with complacency and whatnot. That does have a huge factor because there's a huge target on our back. I really think that everybody's looking to take down Cedar Park when this group and the year before when Shelby and all of them were 8th graders, this group right here. Cedar Park was never known for winning big games in basketball.
Yes.
And
actually the opposite. We beat everybody we're supposed to beat and lost everybody we're supposed to lose to.
No doubt. And then one of the things that definitely happened was the culture change. Reaching the regional tournament for the first outright district championship, and then these girls have continued the tradition. It's just one thing. It's amazing to see how a culture can just take place and just run. And I think that's what these kids are experiencing, and it seems like even in practice habits and in work ethic, this team hasn't become complacent at all. They just get after it, game after game.
This team is so talented. They're wiping out not only their 5A opponents, but they're also taking care of business at the 6A level. So this team that's doing so many things well, what's one thing that they need to work on early on?
One thing that you have to work on is, the dynamic changes. We have such a good volleyball program over at Cedar Park High School, and we have some key components actually come over from volleyball. So, adding that into the mix after these kids have played all fall league together, all summer league, and all those showcases, and then you kind of change the dynamic by adding more people into it. It takes a little bit of gelling, and also just to get in basketball shape. The one thing that's different about this group is, we lost 3 seniors last year: Soraya Stupinon, Elisa Knight, Ainsley Davis, and even just losing those 3, it changes the dynamic just a little bit. So you kind of have to adapt and try to almost figure out how do you not fill the void, but how do you gel?
Right.
There's certain things that this group has done over the past 7 games and even before that have prepped them for success, and they're experiencing that now.
All right, thanks. J.R. Romero, assistant coach extraordinaire of this state championship women's basketball team. And now we're going to pass the mic to Cammie, Coach K, one of the favorites. All the girls laughing because she's coming over here. Yeah, Cammie, were you trying to hide over there? Were you not wanting to do this?
Yes.
Oh, you thought you were going to get out of this? Oh, we'll make it short.
I thought I was getting out of it tonight.
We'll make it short. Tell us, what do you think is the most important ingredient that this group has as a whole that makes them who they are?
Experience, chemistry. I really can't say one word because it's
more than one ingredient.
Yeah, it's more than one. Dedication. They're just unique. They really are. Just a unique group of kids and young ladies, and just with a intense work ethic and just passion for the game.
And where else were you coaching before you came to Cedar Park?
I coached. I was a head girls basketball coach and a girls coordinator at El Dorado High School, which is I guess now 2A. At the time 1A. I was there for 4 years, and I was a head coach at Menard High School for 8 years, and so then decided to jump to Cedar Park.
So talk about it. Can you see a difference when you got these girls playing and practicing and working and just existing together between whatever it is they are and have between some of those other teams that you were coaching? Can you see right away, well, this team, I remember that team, they were pretty good, but they didn't have this?
Oh, absolutely, 110%. I mean, when I was at Menard and El Dorado, we would have one or two kids that kind of fit the description of being unique. And with that work ethic and the desire, the combination and the package of everything. But here we have an entire group,
a whole team.
And I thank the Lord every day for this opportunity and for the chance to work with these girls. And they are definitely super special, and I'm just lucky to be sitting here where I'm at with them.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I think they're glad to have you too.
Yeah, so you've logged a lot of hours in basketball, coaching, playing. Do you remember the first time you fell in love with basketball?
My mom was a coach. My mom coached for 33 years. She was a girls basketball coach, and so I grew up in the gym, and so I've been a coach's kid all my life, and just always knew that this was my passion, and wanted to work with young ladies and young athletes and teach and mentor and be Mama K, I guess.
And here you are. Here you are, no regrets, right?
No regrets.
All right, thanks, Cam. We told you to be short. It's short. Go ahead and pass the mic now to G Mall, who just about was unguardable last year just as a sophomore. G, how tall are you?
About 5'10".
5'10"?
Yeah.
Are you still growing? Were you 5'9" last year?
Dude, you were like 5'7" last year.
No, I don't think I've grown much.
Haven't grown in a while?
Okay.
I think I'm going to stay at this height.
Now, do the girls do much weightlifting to keep muscles toned, legs, arms, shoulders, anything?
Yeah, Coach K
there we go.
Coach K gets us right in the weight room for sure. Yeah, and Coach Rowe. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, of the team, not just these here, but of the entire team, who is the best singer?
The best singer? Yeah, it's Shelby.
It's Shelby. All right, get ready for some acapella here.
No. We don't want to
I got some Whitney Houston on here.
We got some Whitney Houston.
We can get it queued up.
Sing along.
She's the best, but we don't have to.
Oh, we got videos, Angie said.
Yeah,
all right. Gee, what do you think is your greatest strength as a basketball player? What is your go-to thing in basketball?
Go-to.
Hezzy Hay?
Hezzy, I think that's something I'm known for. I don't know. I just feel like I'm always trying to grow and expand and I guess just work on new moves and work on new things that I need to get better at. So, right now my focus is shooting, but I don't really have a go-to, I guess.
What do
just
you
takes what the defense gives you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect.
Actually, she'll take whatever she wants to take from the defense. The way she plays, they don't even have to give her anything. Sorry for the feedback. Lean this way a little bit; it'll kind of help the feedback.
Okay.
So, what are your plans? You got another season plus here at Cedar Park. What are your plans after that?
After my season next year?
Yeah.
Oh, well, obviously I'm in the recruiting process right now, and so now I'm at the point where I'm just taking a lot of college visits just to kind of see where I'm at right now. Yeah, and it's been great.
Get all the swag.
Yeah, it's been great to actually go and see. It's way different talking to coaches than it is actually seeing them in person and seeing what their campus is about and seeing the team together and seeing how I would fit in.
Have you gotten to the point where there's so many of them you're pretty confident one of these five you're going to pick one that you're really going to like?
I haven't really decided. I don't think I'm at the point right now where I'm cutting down on my list. I'm trying to still I'm still inviting new coaches. I get new coaches still trying to contact me, and I'm all for it because I think that I still have a lot of time before I really need to decide.
Do you have a field of study that might help make a difference? Is there something particular you want to get a degree in?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty interested in like sports business,
Ah.
and so what's really cool is like certain colleges, like they'll have me like get on Zoom meetings and to kind of talk about like what I would do as far as like classes and things like that, and the classes I need to take to do what I want to do. So that's just something that's really cool to me.
All right, that sounds great. Got anybody want to give a shout out?
Shout out to my team. Let's keep it rolling, and shout out to my parents.
All right, good job, G Mall. Pass the mic, if you will, to Angie Sacco, who we found out last year, Josh, is somehow, some way nebulously related to the Sacco of Sacco and Vanzetti.
Oh, the Sacco heir.
Kind of interesting. Well, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing, right? I mean, it's something that you kind of admit to, but it's not like you're related to Betsy Ross or George Washington. Yeah. That's interesting, though. So, Angie,
Interesting family history, actually.
oops, let's get you turned up a little there. There we go. Go ahead. Say again.
Hello? There we go.
There you go. So, forward, like a 4 or something? Is that what you mainly play?
Yeah.
Woo! Let's get it better.
We
Okay,
might
there
have
you
to
go.
do the musical chairs.
Yeah. Try again. Lean real forward. Yeah,
Yeah,
bring it all with you. There you go.
I do play outside some, but majority of the time I'm inside.
What's your favorite thing about being a Cedar Park Timberwolf?
Probably just the connection that I have with everyone. Like these two right here. I've known them since elementary and middle school, so being with them all the time is fun. And
Woo! What a middle school team that would have been.
we were stacked. We had tons of people.
Were these two the tall girls then too, or is that something
Yes.
that they were? Huh?
Yes,
Okay.
always.
The trees.
They were like during practices I couldn't see over them, so it was. I mean, I still can't, but.
So describe for me. It goes down to 3, 2, 1. It's over, the state championship. What's going through your head at that instant? Where were you?
I honestly was speechless. Like I didn't know what to think.
I wouldn't have either.
The one thing that I thought about was, the funny thing was my brother, because his junior year he won football state championship, and we were talking about that before we were prepping for our game. So like after I realized we won, I was like, I'm just like my brother. Just like my brother junior year he won state.
Yeah.
I got to do the exact same thing. So just thinking about my connection with my brother and just my teammates and how excited I was, I didn't really know what to think at that point.
So how long did you enjoy that state championship before starting to focus on the next season?
Probably like a few days, and then
I'd wear the medal at least everywhere. Take it to HEB. I mean,
and there's the ring. And I forgot it tonight. I was going to wear that dang ring, and I was late getting out of the house and forgot all about it.
There you go. We got one over there.
There we go. Mike remembered his.
Yeah, we actually wore our rings today during media day.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm making a point to wear it to every game that I come to announce. I'm sure Mike will wear his to every game that he calls. Oh, yeah, those things, keep that the rest of your life. You're going to show that to your grandkids. So you know what I did one time? However you sound at that point. Who's the best dancer on the team?
It'd probably have to be Gisela, if I'm being honest.
All right.
Me and G were a dancing duo, for sure.
Going to go to Dancing with the Stars someday? Yeah.
Sure.
All right. What field of study do you think you're interested in?
I actually want to do sports education.
Oh, okay.
So, want to be a coach.
Is there a particular school that's going to do that well for you? You're thinking of going to?
I am applying. I've actually applied to Texas State.
He's an X.
Beat 'em up, go Cats, go.
I want to go there. There's like some other schools that I've looked at, but I've only applied to like Texas State for their program. So
if you go there, go see some baseball games. You'll know the shortstop.
Ryder Hernandez.
Ryder in the Storm. That's right. All right, Angie Sacco, one of our players. Now pass the mic to Shelby, sitting right in front of me. And Shelby, I want to ask you the same first question. I don't remember where you were, but I wanted to watch you when it went 3-2-1-0 and celebrate. And I remember watching you and just about breaking down. I don't know why. Where were you and what happened in those seconds?
Man,
You were on the floor, right?
They actually had just taken me out with 2 seconds left, and I'm sitting over there, and I hear like Coach Ott, we got this, and so I'm just ecstatic, and I'm so proud, and I was just filled with happy, joyful tears and everything, just because of how much work all of us put in to get to that moment. All the practice, all the film, all the hard work in the gym, things like that.
So fulfilling.
Yeah, it made everything worth it, and especially doing it with the people that we got to win state with, with those 3 seniors as well as the girl sitting next to me. We've known each other for so long, and getting to that point was just with them was just crazy.
It's just amazing. I was, Mike broadcast that game, is down there next to you all, kind of at the table on the floor. And Merle Bertrand, a guy who runs the media company we work for, he had put in for 2 press credentials because, like some of the playoff games last year, I was going to sit with him, do color commentary, do some stats for him, all that. And they said, only 1. So I had to sit up in the stands. I was about row 8 right behind them. But I was going to be there with Mike, but Mike got to do the game. I didn't get to do the game. But, oh, my God, that was so fulfilling. Was right there sitting with a lot of y'all's parents and friends and so forth, and there was not a dry eye in the house, and I imagine there wasn't on the bench and on the floor either.
No, sir. Yeah, no, we were all just so happy and overwhelmed with joy and everything. It was an amazing feeling.
But now you're trying to repeat, and the goal now is to get back to that same the state championship game. What can you say that this team has done so well up until this point in the season?
Just how well we work together is a big thing, and how we get into our offense very quickly, and defensively, our presence. We have one of the best man defenses in the state. And just how well we work together, how we communicate with each other and things like that. We do different things that set us apart from different teams, and it's why I feel like we win the majority of our games.
Right.
And when I watch you, you always seem to be so much faster than everybody you play. You're what, 6'1" or whatever?
6'2".
Reese is 6'.
God,
you guys
bragging?
are just outrunning their guards down the floor. I mean, it's amazing to watch the speed you guys have.
Yeah, shout out to boot camp in the beginning of the year.
There you go. I was thinking too that is it kind of like an addict? Now that you had it, you've had the state title, you know what that feels like going through your blood vessels. It's like you got to get back now, right? You got to have another one, right? It's like an addict; they'll do anything to get that again, right? Is that kind of how you're feeling going into the season? Whatever it takes, we saw what it was. We need it again. Whatever it takes, we're gonna do it again.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we know. Every time we go in the gym, we know like Coach Ott said, we can't be complacent. We know what it takes to get to that point, and so we just got to keep working every single day and lean on each other, and then we'll get back to that same point that we did last year. Our motto this year is never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
Love that.
And how easily it can blow at any seam. You can be up 3 late in the game and give up 2 easy layups and lose, and you're done.
Yeah.
And all that work's gone, and so just the fire that lights, I think, underneath your psyche to make sure that you don't leave anything out there. You can be tired tomorrow. You can be tired after the game. I'm sprinting full speed down the court right now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Especially with that target on our back that we have, having that number 1 spot and everything. Every team wants to beat us. We're going to get everyone's best game, and we know that. And so that's why we have to go into every game and play for each other and play our hearts out.
All right, thanks. Shelby Hayes, center, all-state player.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Shelby. We're going to have you and Reese switch spots. No, you're here. You came here. We need to hear your words of wisdom. Your folks are listening. Come on, Reese. It's a requirement. Come on, slip over here. Reese. Come on. I want to talk to you. Come on, Reese.
You came to support and get on, so no, I didn't.
First question. Does anybody call you Reese Witherspoon? Is that a bad nickname you'd like to get away from?
I mean, my parents call me that sometimes.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. So recently, she was talking about how the 3 of you were in middle school together, I guess 7th and 8th grade teams and stuff. How much fun was that, being able to be those 2 and then 6 years playing basketball with these guys?
It was fun. I think all of the seniors played together except one, which was Alyssa. I think we played since we were like 6th grade, 5th grade. I know me and Angie started, 4th grade.
Wow.
And Shelby was 6th grade, so we've been playing together for a long time.
And she was saying you've always been the tall girl, so you're always a 4 or a 5, I guess, when you play on your teams?
I started off as a 4 and a 5, but I've moved closer to like a shooting guard, like 3, 4. But Coach Ott puts me, Megan, Elaine, and Angie kind of rotating through all those spots. So.
So, what do you think your best strength on the floor is?
I would say I've gotten
Avoiding microphones.
Yes, I've gotten a lot better at shooting this year, and that's one of my main focuses, but also just fitting in where Coach Ott needs me to be. So really just being aggressive defensively, being a threat, and
what do you do well defensively?
I would say blocks.
Yes.
I've seen some blocks.
I'm short, so I never got that. I never had that ability.
But yeah, just that's what we do is we play defense, and we're known for that. So I think that's one of the.
So like for practice, everybody's getting ready. Who's the last one out?
Megan.
Oh!
Sorry, Megan.
She's not here to defend herself.
We're usually all on the line starting stretch, and she's.
So who's the first one out?
Shelby.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
Sometimes I've been out before Shelby has, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go Owls, hoot 'em.
Okay. Okay. We'll take that. So who do you think on the team is the best liar?
Ooh.
I would think Elaine King is the best liar.
Elaine King.
Yes. Yes, she's very quiet, but she talks a lot now. She's been talking a lot.
Oh, Elaine, nice to have you here. Reese just said. So Reese, I want to ask you also, where were you the moment the clock ticked to 0, winning the state title, and what was going through your head?
Okay, well, actually, Sarai just came off. She got hit in, what was it, the nose? Yeah.
Oh.
And I was helping her because she had just came off the floor. So I was helping her, but I saw Coach Ott, like, crouching, and then Sarai was, like, squeezing me, and then she jumped into my arms, like, right as it went off, and it was amazing. Like,
oh, boy.
Everyone just, like, grabbed each other. It was really fun.
It's awesome.
How long did it take to come down from the high of that experience?
I mean, I don't think we stopped celebrating. Like, we had celebrations, like, throughout the summer, and we still do sometimes.
Let's get together and celebrate. So what are your plans for after high school?
Go to college, at least. I don't know where exactly, but
Study what?
I want to do something in law.
Oh. I didn't do it.
So I've been looking at like law programs, and I've submitted a couple applications so far, but I don't know if I want to stay in state or go out of state.
I have a daughter who lives and works in Washington, D.C., and she just took and passed her LSATs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. She's thinking about being a corporate lawyer. Doesn't want to do criminal law. She wants to do corporate lawyer. So best of luck to her. And best of luck to you if it's a path that you take, too.
Yes, that's my goal.
All right, Reese Merrill, one of our tall girls. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, my God.
Gee.
I think I have the best story.
Okay.
So there's 7 seconds left, and they inbound the ball, and the girl's in the corner, and she shoots a 3, and I block it.
Oh,
right?
that is a good story.
That happens, right? And
there was
then
just seconds left or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So then the play with Sarai happens, and there's like 2 seconds left, I believe, and so I think Megan just inbounds the ball to me, and I had the honor and the privilege to throw the ball up
as high as you
in
could.
The air, as high as I could.
I remember seeing that.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, it's always been a dream of mine, so I finally got to do it, and I was thinking.
Was it 2 hands?
No, it was a 1 hand, underhand toss as high as possible, and then I just sprinted to the middle of the court to celebrate.
Oh man!
But yeah, that's definitely something that
never forget.
Never forget, and something that I definitely want to have the chance to feel again and get to do again.
An addict. I'm telling you, there's something to that, right? There's something to that.
Exactly.
All right, let's pass the mic, or have Mike come down here. Mike Rose, the V of the LT, broadcast voice of the Lady Timberwolves, come in here and talk with us for a second before we go to our break. Mike Rose is a longtime broadcaster with KMAX Sports and Vype Media and so forth, known him for a while. And Mike,
hello there.
You worked that game too.
I did.
Can you remember what your call is? 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh my God! What was it? What was it?
I still haven't gone back to listen, but I said, "Oh my God, your Cedar Park Lady Timberwolves are the 5A state champions.
Oh my!
And
then you started crying.
I did. I blubbered. I blubbered. I looked up. It was hearing their stories. I mean, they're all accurate because I was a row behind them.
Yeah.
Which was a kind of cool venue at the Alamo Dome to sit right behind Cedar Park's bench. But we'll get spoiled sitting at the scores table at the Timber Dome.
Yeah.
So right between the action, but I couldn't leave my seat. I wanted to run out there.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it, but I wanted to be out there so bad.
If they had let me be on the broadcast, I could have kind of taken over and narrated while you went out.
Yeah,
well, you could have gone out there.
Yeah.
I
would have freaked the entire security. Who is this man losing his?
Oh, that was me during the 2012 state championship game. It was like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I was like, screw it. And I took off my headset, and I went down. Yeah. I was like, I'm going down on the field.
Because we knew at that point we were about to win it. It wasn't close much at the end. Josh got to go on out there at the Jerry World. That was pretty fun. So, Mike, how many years have you been doing this for the Lady Timberwolves?
This will be my 6th season coming up here next month. Very excited for another district run. Got word from the Booster Club that they're welcoming me back, which is awesome. So,
nice.
Which is great news.
Always good to be invited back.
That's better than asking them. They say, who?
Who? Yeah.
One of the things, I don't know if you've noticed this, but one of the things that I always do as the arena announcer for this team and for the boys team too is I don't say girls basketball and boys basketball. I say women's basketball and men's basketball.
Oh.
And I think there's an important distinction because these young ladies are closer to women than they are to girls. I think girls basketball is junior high. You're in high school, man, that's women's basketball. And I have always called this team that. You might think about that. Maybe you could do that on the broadcast too. It's a women's basketball team.
Yeah, it's like me trying to change my name to Michael. I'm gonna try to change girls to women's. I'll work on that. So
the other teams that play might be girls, but these are women.
That's right. Yes.
Well, that belittles the win though. They beat women too. That's true. Mike, you and I were talking about some of Coach Ott's records. These 4 years of this program are pretty amazing. 17-18, if Coach, he's right here. The first year there, 30-8, 16-0 in district, 3-1 in the playoffs. The next year, 18-19, 30-4, 12-0 in district, 1-1 in the playoffs, the only early bounce. The next year, 20, 33-4, 12-0 in district, 4-1 in the playoffs. And then last year, 27-1, not as many wins because of the COVID shortened thing, but 14-0 in district, 7-0 in the playoffs. So in the 4 years he's been here, counting the 7-0 start this year, he is 130-17.
Oh my gosh!
54-0 in district, and in the postseason, 15-3, and that's not half bad.
It's all good, is what that is. That's
it's got to be a great time for you to be able to be privileged to call this guy's games.
Well, 5 years ago, Merle, who you mentioned before, said that Cedar Park, I'd done Leander boys basketball the year before, and he said that Cedar Park's going through a coaching change, and the person that had done Cedar Park forever didn't want to pick it up, and so the torch is being passed to me. And quite honestly, I said, girls basketball, women's basketball. Man, I don't know. Okay, right? And that was the year before Coach Ott came. But it was a lot of fun. They had a playoff run, and the girls gelled well. Coach Smith was there. It was awkward. But I hadn't done basketball a lot as a broadcaster. And the Booster Club, because I was the new guy, I wasn't the old guy who'd done it forever. So the Booster Club, they didn't like me. They talked to me a couple times. They talked to Merle a lot. Like, who is this guy? And then came into my own. And then next year with Coach Ott coming on, not to brown nose or not to kiss up or whatever, but the community, the friendships, just everything about Cedar Park, not just women's basketball, but the parents and Coach Ott.
Meet a lot of good people.
Coach Kate, Coach Rowe, Coach Brewer, Coach...
Sticks with you a long time.
Yeah, even Coach Asbeck before, and just having that connection and all that. So it's been a blessing. And I moved away after the state championship last year. I went to Brenham, and thankfully the universe said no, you're gonna need to go back to Austin. So
universe was right.
There you go.
So I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. This team now has 55 straight district wins because they're on a short district winning streak the year before Coach Ott came here, and of course he's prolonged that. The last district loss was to Georgetown, February 3rd, 2017, over 4 years ago. 6-0 against them since, 4-0 in district, 1-0 in tournament games, and 1-0 in the playoffs. Rhonda Farney is now the winningest women's basketball coach in the state. The two people who are ahead of her retired last year. Her record is 1,183 and 337, a winning percentage of 778. Coach Ott's winning percentage at Cedar Park is 884.
That's right.
Over 100 points higher. And I don't know if you guys know this, but this is actually version 2 of women's basketball, girls basketball in Texas. When I was in high school, when I started high school, it was a different sport. It changed to what we now know when I was a senior in high school. Before that, it was this weird thing. Coach Ott probably knows about this, but may not have ever seen it because he's too young. It was 3-on-3 at one end of the court and 3-on-3 at the other end of the court, and none of them could cross courts. You had 3 defensive players playing the other team's 3 offensive players. And when your defense get a rebound, they have to pass it across the midcourt stripe. And your 3 offensive players would play against their 3 defensive players. A stupid, weird way to play basketball. It changed to real basketball my senior year, and women's basketball has taken off. So anyway, I don't know if y'all ever knew that ever existed. We're going to take another short break. We're going to run a little long tonight, so I hope the restaurant's okay with it. When we return, more nonstop honking of the Cedar Park Horn right here from Santa Catarina on Timberwolf Night in America. This is the Vype Live Network.
Know the Alzer family. They've been involved in Cedar Park sports for years, just as Alzer's Barbecue has been involved in Cedar Park cuisine for years. It's one-of-a-kind, authentic Texas barbecue. Brisket, turkey, chicken, lamb, terrific sides and sauces. It's sheer succulence. That's Alzer's Barbecue, next to the Shell Station on 1431, just east of Lakeline. Open Friday through Sunday, every weekend.
Experience the difference at Toyota of Cedar Park, one of the Austin area's newest automobile dealerships. Their new vehicle department will always stock the newest Toyota models you need. The pre-owned vehicles they choose must each pass a rigorous inspection and be in tip-top shape before they make it to their lot or website for you to see. And if you're looking for budget-friendly Toyota-certified used vehicles, they've got you covered. And you can rest easy knowing that the best new cars make the best used cars. That's Toyota of Cedar Park at toyotaofcedarpark.com. Army Ant Moving calls Cedar Park home for movers that residents and businesses can rely on. For outstanding moving expertise and trustworthy estimates, Army Ant Moving stands above the rest. Their reputation speaks for itself. They've received the Angie's List Superior Service Award for the last 2 years. Their movers are highly trained and experienced, so whether you need to move your household to a new home across town or an entire corporate office to a new location, your valuables are in knowledgeable and reliable hands with Army Ant Moving Company. Check them out at armyantmoving.com.
All right, welcome back. Episode 12 of Timberwolf Night in America for 2021 live from Santa Catarina. I'm Brad Cohn. He's Josh Willard. Linda Salvo, our QA tonight here on the Vype Network, bringing you all the stuff from right here in the heart of the 613. We've been talking with our guests, Cedar Park Lady Timberwolf basketball team, state champions. I haven't mentioned that before. All right, NEA questions. We continue to attack Josh here with 3 questions each Tuesday night that the National Education Agency says that high school seniors should know. Here are this week's 3 questions. He's done pretty well this season. He is 12 for 18. Fair warning, this is actual information, not pop culture tripe that chews up space in your brain. All right.
I'm good at that stuff.
How many American states were once recognized independent nations?
Oh, wowzers. That's going to go a whopping 1. Tejas.
That's right. Just 1. Texas.
Oh!
No other American state has ever been its own recognized independent nation. It's sometimes erroneously stated that the Republic of Vermont in the 1770s and the California Bear Flag Republic in the 1850s were also independent nations, but neither effort was officially recognized by any other established country. They convened no legislatures, levied no taxes, neither funded nor fielded an army, established no embassies, negotiated no international treaties like Texas did.
It'd be fine if California was their own country right now.
Right now, yeah, we could get rid of them. All right. When were the first ideas for wireless communication and wireless transmission of electrical power first published, and who published them?
What?
When were the first ideas for wireless communication and wireless transmission of electrical power first published, and who published them then?
Okay, it was first published in 1868.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
No?
Okay. I
Okay.
don't know.
Is that your answer? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It was a wag, huh?
Yeah.
You're just pulling something out and sniffing it?
Ew.
Okay. All right. 1893.
That was pretty close.
That's not bad.
That's not that bad.
Do you know who it was, though?
Heck no.
Nikola Tesla.
Oh.
Nikola Tesla.
Is that Elon Musk, uncle
that's
or
right.
grandpa?
You've seen Elon Musk cars, electric cars, named after him. The Tesla, the whole company named after him. All right, what's the boiling point of water? And tell us in both Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Gosh, shout out to Cedar Park Volleyball my senior year because they had these sick playoff shirts. Boiling point, 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah?
Don't know Celsius.
Oh, you got to know Celsius.
No, I don't.
All right, any of you seniors who are supposed to know all of this?
You're going to Rice. Come on. You got to know this stuff, dude.
You got to know the boiling point of water in Celsius if you're going to Rice. They won't let you in if you
They really won't.
Good thing I'm a business major.
100 Celsius, centigrade.
100?
0 and 100. Freezing is 0, boiling's 100.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah. All right, remember the National Education Agency says all American high school seniors should know all of these facts. So if you guys didn't know these, hit the books. All right, another trivia question for you, Josh. Another football overtime question. How many times have we won a playoff game with a walk-off touchdown?
Never. Never? I'm saying never. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. I'm going to say 3.
Oh, gosh.
Although technically it's 2. Here's why. Against Leander in 04, Corey Washington hit Tyler Farst. 13-yard touchdown pass to win 23-20. In 19 at San Angelo Central, we won second, forced a fumble, and scored a touchdown on our 5th play to end the game in a 41-35 win. And the one that you could score a couple different ways is that in 2011 at Vandergrift, trailing by 7 going into the bottom of the second overtime period, we scored a touchdown, but Chris Ross elected to go for 2, and we made it, thus ending the game in a 29-28 win. So it wasn't technically a walk-off touchdown. It was a walk-off 2-point conversion.
Still a scoring play.
I think so. One more trivia question, again, about overtime games. What is our record in overtime games played at home?
I know. We won my senior year.
But that
we
wasn't
beat the snot out of LBJ.
But that wasn't an overtime game at home.
Oh, we're doing overtime. Okay. We are 2-4.
Now, this one can be a tricky answer, because if I'd worded it, what is our record in overtime games played in our own stadium, the answer would be different, because one of our wins, 23-20 over Leander, we just mentioned 04, was played at our stadium, Old Bible, but we were the visitors that night. Otherwise, we are 3-2. Lost to Westwood in 05, won over Harker Heights in 06, lost to Cypress Ridge in 09, won over LBJ in 18. So 4-2 in overtime games played in our stadium, 3-2 is the home team. So 6 of our 11 overtime games have been played in our home stadium. All right, trivia time. We're going to play Josh Willard, right or wrong. So, as I said to you all during the break, we're going to ask Josh a series of 9 questions, all true or false. After he answers, you'll tell us if you think he's right or wrong. If he's right, he gets a point. If you're right about him being right or wrong, you get a point. So on any question, both of you could score, one or the other could score, or neither of you could score. And I got to tell you, Josh usually wins this game.
I'm pretty good at it.
He won last time we did it, 6-3 over the special teams football players. So, let's get my file going here. All right, here it is. All these, again, are true or false.
I love a good 50-50.
Loves a good 50-50. All right, here we are. First question. 4 Cedar Park programs have won team state championships in their endeavor. True or false? 4 Cedar Park programs have won state championships at what they do.
That's true.
Okay.
The band, girls basketball, football, cross country.
Josh says it's true that it's 4. Is he right or wrong?
Come on, dude. Forever Cedar Park High. Come on. Oh, cheer too. That's one to grow on.
So he would be
wrong.
You're right.
Wait, what? It had to be exact? See,
it is false. Josh does not score, and the Hoopsters do. It's 5. Football, marching band, cheer, and cross country. So between the two of you, you named them all.
Dadgummit.
All right. In overtime basketball games in high school,
oh, Lord.
the periods are 4 minutes long. True or false?
Oh. That was a bad poker face. I'm going to say true.
He's going to say true. Is he right? Are they 4 minutes long, or is he wrong? There's something other than 4 minutes long.
Yeah, that's true.
He's right, and so are you.
God. So
it's now
lucky.
2-1 after 2 innings. Here's the third inning question. There are 250 counties in Texas.
What? What? I'm going to say false. I'm going to say false on that. There's 262.
He's saying false. 250 counties in Texas is false. What do you say? Is he right or wrong to say false to that?
What do you think? Dude, where's Coach K at, though? I think there's
She thinks there's more. Reese does. Okay.
So you would agree?
Well, I don't know. You might have thought there's less. You're just saying there's
no.
not,
I said 262. I'm sticking to it.
You're just saying it's false. That there's 250.
Mama's enchiladas or quesadillas. Thank you.
So false.
So he says false. Do you think he's right or wrong?
Yeah, we think he's right.
You think he's right?
Yeah.
It is false. There are 254.
Yay.
Oh yes, I get my winning horn.
Both teams score. It's 3-2. That's all there is to it. Hoopsters. Hey, there you go. Hoops.
There it is.
Hashtag whoops. Women's hoops. There you go.
God, that's a good play.
Whoops. That's a good one. All right. All right. Question number 5. G. Mall's actual first name is Griselda. True or false? This is going to be one they get right, by the way.
False.
It's false?
It's false.
Janine?
G-Money.
G-Money.
Giselle? Like that?
But is he right that it's not Griselda? He's right. You're both right.
Yes.
And
I'm gonna start.
G,
I'm gonna start calling.
Call
you
your
that
real
now.
name into the microphone for him.
Well, I'm just saying.
My real name is Gisela.
Gisela.
Gisela. It's
Gisela.
close to Griselda. Griselda was actually a character in Monty Python's movie Jabberwocky. All right. Number 6. Did I score that right? Oh yeah, you were both right. Let me get that in there.
Sick.
Man, you guys are scoring. All right. The women's basketball team went undefeated at home last year. True or false?
Undefeated. What was their record last year?
27-1.
Oh! Y'all protected the Timber Dome, right? I'm going to say that's false.
That's false. That they did not go undefeated at home. Is he right or wrong?
Wait, no. I want to say they did protect the house.
So
did I answer that right?
So it's true.
I say
you're saying
true.
it is true that they went undefeated at home.
I'm saying that's true.
Is he right or wrong?
He's wrong.
He's wrong. They only lost
We
at
actually
home.
lost on my birthday last year.
Oh man!
Yeah, and like a
Oh no!
But
yeah.
that date, right, was
My
November 13th, which means this team has gone more than a calendar year without losing a game.
God, I love
That's
winning.
never been
Winning
done
is
before.
fun.
Nice
Being from
job.
Cedar Park is cool.
Nice job. So Josh does not get the point there,
God.
but the girls do. Yeah. The women do. Okay, here we go. Number 7. It's been more than 100 games since the last time the women's basketball team lost to a 5A team during the regular season. Is that true or false? It's been more than 100 games since they lost to a 5A team in the regular season.
I'm going to say true. I'm going to say true.
Is he right?
Wait, wouldn't it be false? Because wouldn't you count playoffs?
No, I said the regular season.
Oh, regular season.
They've lost to 5A teams in the last 100 games, but, there's playoff losses that are going to be in there. 5A team in the regular season. Has it been 100 games or more? He says
that's got to feel so gratifying,
false.
just beating the snot out of a 6A team. Oh my gosh.
So he's
55 district games in a row.
Wait.
But you've played other 5A teams outside of district in these 100 games. Did you lose any of them? So he says false, so you're saying you didn't lose any, so you're saying he's wrong that it's true. Correct?
Yeah, he's wrong.
That's not what I meant to say, but okay.
Oh, what did you say?
I don't know. My wording is terrible tonight. I want to say that's true.
Well, you can change your answer?
No, I wasn't changing it. That's what I meant from the beginning.
When you said it's false, you meant it was true?
Correct.
All right, is he right now? It's true?
I don't even know where we are.
Is he true?
I'm saying that they haven't lost to a 5A program in the last 100 games.
In the regular season?
In the regular season.
So he's saying it's true, and you're saying he's right, and you both score because that is true. The date of the last loss to a 5A team during the regular season was November 11th, 2017.
Wow, where were you?
Amarillo Randall, 64-59, 126 games ago. Since that last loss to a 5A team in the regular season, over 4 years ago, the team is 120-14. All 14 losses either to 6A teams or 5A teams in the playoffs.
Cedar Park or Yukon Women's? You tell me.
Yeah. Prior to Donnie Ott's arrival, Georgetown had been Cedar Park women's team's worst nemesis. Cedar Park had never beaten Georgetown in women's basketball before Ott took over here. Is that true or false?
Dude, false. My girls gave them the fits back in 2010, 2011.
You said we never lost to Georgetown?
Never lost to Georgetown. He says that's false.
Yes, we lost.
No. Never beat Georgetown. He says they did once in 2010.
Never beat Georgetown.
2010, 2011. We had to have beaten Georgetown.
I don't. Because they used to be really good.
Yeah.
God.
They're still really good. You just are better.
12 points. Regional finals, 12 points.
Yeah, they only scored 12 points. I think 8 of them were free throws. Okay, so what do you think? He's saying that that's not true, that we have, that you have beat them at least once before Ott got here. Is he right or wrong?
There's no way Georgetown beat them every time.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Georgetown, come on.
They've had to at least won one, right?
We will agree with them.
Man, you're both wrong for the first time. It's true. Reese had it. She was trying to talk you into it.
You didn't speak
Prior
up.
to the 2017-18, you gotta talk louder, Reese. Prior to the 2017-18 season, Cedar Park was 0-26 against Georgetown all time.
Holy cat! 0-26
since Coach Ott took over. They are 6-0, and Rhonda Farney's been fighting to stay out of the same district as the Timberwolves ever since. So, man, nobody scored in the 8th inning. It's the first inning that nobody scored in. All right. You're up by 7. You've got it won. Only 1 inning to go.
That happened.
Last question.
Up by 2.
Up by 2. 7-5. 7-5. All right. We mentioned that Cedar Park programs have won team state titles. How many individual state crowns have been won by Cedar Park athletes? For example, like tennis, the team could have won the state title because enough tennis players win, and you get points and all that, and so the team can be called a state title, and maybe 2 or 3 of their players won it individually, or maybe one of them won a state title at a certain level, but the team didn't. It could happen across country too. So how many times did we had an individual become a state champion? Maybe their team didn't win it.
Shout out Too Fast Jav Guidry at the New York Jets right now. He won state in the 100-meter dash.
Yep.
That's pretty much all I got. I got 1. Okay.
So is he right or wrong that there's 1?
No, I'm going to just throw out a random number. We're going to go with 8. Parker Stinson should have gotten some cross-country state championships.
Yeah, but he was on a team that won it too.
They don't do individual in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They give it you 1 individual if your team doesn't win.
That's true. Okay. I'm going 4. Final answer.
He's going 4. Is that right or wrong? 4 individual state titleists.
Yeah, we're going to say that's wrong.
I mean, don't have to rub it in my face.
You are correct. Yeah. It is wrong. There have been 3 wrestlers. Come on. Who've won state titles.
Levi?
plus 1 swimmer, somebody mentioned swimmer, and 2 track athletes, so 6 rather. 6 is the number.
Oh, no.
One of the track athletes was in girls track, women's track.
Isabel.
Oh, I forgot her. So there's 6 actually.
7.
Yeah, because we had a pole vaulter win 10 or 12 years ago.
Oh, that's so
ended
scary.
up
I would
setting
never try
the
that.
School record at the University of Texas for the pole vault later on in life.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So good. So the final score is...
Man, whatever. I'll take it out of the state champs. I'll take it out of the state champs.
Josh still has a winning record in this game.
That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
I know. I watched The Price is Right today with my daughter. She loves that show.
All right, a preview of Angleton. This will be the first game ever between Cedar Park and Angleton. In football, we did beat them in a baseball playoff series a few years ago. Wildcats are traditionally strong. This year, like for us, not one of their better performances. They're currently 8-3, having finished 5-3 in their district, and in 4th place in 10-5A. They average 31.4 per game, give up an average of 23.5. Their losses, all in district play, are to the 3 teams that all finished tied for the district crown: Katy Pato, Manvel, and Fort Bend Hightower. They played Hightower close, losing just 18-16. They are crushed in the other 2. 39 points by Manvel, 42 points by Pato. They beat 6-5 Friendswood in the first round, 34-18. They scored a touchdown with 2 minutes left to extend a 27-18 margin to something a little more respectable. They've run with 2 quarterbacks this year. Caden Brooks is the senior. He's 61 for 104 for 901 yards with 6 touchdowns and 1 pick. That's a 58.7% completion and an average of 14.8 per throw. He went out with an injury, but may be back now. In his place, sophomore Adrian Ewells took over. He has gone 70 for 114 for 989 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. Top receivers are Carrie-Ann Barnaby Goins.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not going to get that
I know.
right.
I've probably got that wrong
God
myself.
bless us.
Let's just call him Goins.
Yeah, I love it.
With 43 catches for 566 yards and 5 touchdowns. Also, A.J. Rice, 24 catches, 483 yards, a 20.1 average. Don't let him get behind you. And 4 touchdowns. In the ground game, junior Deshaun Thomas has 108 carries for 668 yards, a 6.2 average, 10 touchdowns. Quarterback Ewells is their second leading rusher with 95 carries, 361 yards, 3.8 average, 5 touchdowns. It's a talented team and a program with a history of success. Will have to play better than we did against Johnson to come away with a win. And by that, most of it was pretty good. Like I said, there's 5 plays we can't have happen. The missed touchdown passes and the 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I think Cedar Park
9 plays.
takes care of the football, and kind of like this women's basketball team is that they get into their offense very quickly. And I think if Cedar Park establishes that ground game and gets a nice dose of Kevin Adams right physically in their face early to start the game, hopefully it takes their will out pretty early. But then Josh Pell, we're definitely going to need to rely on him through the air. Hopefully we get Nick Gruyon back into the lineup just to be on the opposite side to complement Weapon X, and hopefully get Carter Well and some of these other younger guys involved into the mix. But yeah, if we capitalize on those big shots downfield, take care of the football, the Black Rain, that same team that came out last week against Johnson, that same defense gets off the bus this week in Waller. Yeah. I think Cedar Park is going to take care of business, and that's the thing, is it's all about being a matchup nightmare, and it doesn't matter how you got into the playoffs, everybody's good now. Everybody is a good team this deep into the playoffs, so it's all about who wants it more, and it's going to be a long bus ride for Cedar Park, so they're going to have to get the cobwebs off early, get loose, and get ready to play, because it's going to be a physical game for 4 quarters.
All right, and there you have it. Once again, the Booster Club sponsors this season: Toyota, Cedar Park, H-E-B, Rudy's Barbecue, Mungia Real Estate, Army and Moving, our touchdown sponsor, TJ Lewis Real Estate, Alzer's Barbecue, Wofford Bank, and this here Santa Catarina Mexican restaurant. That's it for our 12th episode of Timberwolves Night in America for the 21 season. The Timberwolves face Angleton at Waller Stadium just west of Houston Friday night, 7 o'clock. Our pregame show is at 6:45. I'll have the play-by-play. Josh with color and analysis. Cecil Kokenauer with technical production and additional commentary. Our thanks to our guests tonight, the Women's Hoopsters State Champs. Again, if I haven't mentioned them before. All right, next week, they were Angie Sacco, Shelby Hayes, Reese Witherspoon, and G-Mo. Reese Merrill. Next week, we'll have the cheer captains as our guests, and if we're still doing a week after that, the volleyball team. To our QA, Len DeSalvo, for my own personal Chris Collinsworth, Josh Willard, this is Brad Jones signing off. You've been listening to Timberwolves Night in America on the Vype Network.